Hello everybody, I'm here with my pre-surgery update. I'm gonna go in real soon for to get 40 lymph nodes removed from my neck, which is a lot. It's a 6 or 7 hour long big crazy surgery with a number of risks, up to and including the loss of my left shoulder mobility, the loss of the left side of my mouth mobility, the loss of my ability to speak, the loss of the ability to move my tongue, and the loss of the ability to move my neck on the left side, and more. But these things only happen if the surgeon clips a nerve or something. They tell me it's pretty unlikely. But I'm going in confident, but I am still kind of spooked because, whoa, Pretty much after that, I will wake up in the hospital and spend a few days there with 2 fluid drain bags in my neck. When I'm released, I'll probably be on a feeding tube through the side of my body to keep me from losing any more weight. The liquid diet, although I have been trying my best, hasn't been too kind to me. As soon as possible after I'm released, I'll begin building my treatment team at UCSF, hopefully, if my insurance allows for it. I tried to go to Stanford and they turned me down. My insurance did, so that was fun. But hopefully they'll go for UCSF and I'll be able to get in there. And once I get my team built through them, I'll be getting 6 weeks of radiation on my tongue, and depending on whether or not they find any cancer in my lymph nodes and in what amount, I may also be receiving radiation to my neck and possibly chemo if things are for some reason surprisingly severe. Hopefully they're not. The doctors have all told me that that's unlikely. It's probably just going to be, if it's anywhere in my neck, it's going to be in the first few, and that should just be, simple tongue radiation, maybe neck, but of course my oncology team at UCSF are going to have the final say in that. So far I've only talked to my ENT surgeon. I haven't talked to any other doctors, so I'm interested to see what the oncologist has to say. When that happens, I'm gonna have to live somewhere down by UCSF. I live up in Mendocino, which is like 4 hours away from San Francisco, which is where UCSF is. I still have to pay my rent up here, and the ACS said they couldn't find us anything. So I don't know. It's going to be a trip. One way or another, this is going to be kind of a long fight for me. Even under the ideal conditions, wherein I just need the tongue radiation for 6 weeks, it's still some hardcore stuff. If you wonder why I'm looking off to the side, I wrote all this down because my brain's all foggy because of anxiety, because I have crazy surgery in 2 days. So I keep looking over to what I wrote so I can stay on track, right? So anyway, during the tongue radiation, even if it's just that for 6 weeks, it's still hardcore. They lock your head to a thing, and then they clamp your tongue to a plank, and they radiate it for like 10 minutes. And I'm a person who spent my whole life with dentist paranoia, and I just got a tooth, a third molar that came in. After I had all my teeth removed, a third molar that came in, I just had to get that removed the other day. So that's, with all this that's going on, it wasn't even scary. How about that? A lifetime of dental fear, and that didn't even freak me out. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so they do all that craziness with the plank, and it can like make crazy lesions all over your face, and shit. And it'll change how things taste, and it makes eating incredibly painful. You know, the tongue radiation itself, even if it's just that, even if I don't need radiation on my neck or chemo, is gonna be fucking brutal, man. Um, but this will happen to me every day for like 6 weeks. And it's crazy. Like, it's like, you know, the whole, like, you know, strapped down with your tongue clamped. Sounds like some Clockwork Orange movie theater freakiness. I don't know. But honestly, if that's, you know, if that gets every last bit of these cancer cells out of me, I'll go into every appointment with freaking bells on, man, smiling, for real. If it is in my lymphs, after they take them out, it becomes a stage 4 cancer. A few things change. That means neck radiation is much more likely, potentially chemo, and hopefully it hasn't gone far because the lymphs are really close to the lungs, and that's where it likes to go after it gets to them, and that's where we're trying to not have it go ever, for any reason. Anyway, even if it falls under these severe conditions, like if it's stage 4 and it's in a bunch of my lymph nodes, it's still beatable. The chance to kick it out of me and lead a normal length life is still wholly plausible. The statistics just wouldn't be in my favor, but screw the statistics. You know, considering this, the test group for those statistics is like people in their 50s and 60s or older who don't have extremely healthy diets and aren't making a litany of lifestyle changes. You know, I'm probably in an exception group, and I've likely got the best chance to beat this, regardless of whatever form it takes. And so I'm taking a lot of confidence and consolation and whatnot in that. There are people who have survived what I have, even with the paraneural invasion, and lived long lives, and there's no reason that I shouldn't be one too. The only spooky bit that keeps me up at night is like recurrence, right? So tongue cancer doesn't tend to kill in round 1. It likes to come back and become harder and harder to find each time. Having the paraneural invasion, like I do, makes it have an 80% chance of coming back. Isn't that nice? Specifically more likely to come back in my neck, which is exactly what I don't want. It's harder to find there, right? Because it's your neck. You can't see inside of it. I can look at my tongue, see what's going on there. I can't look at my neck inside. I need throat scopes and weird biopsy things, and once they take out 40 lymph nodes, it's going to be harder to feel. So that's going to mean, you know, either PET scans or CT scans, which you can only do every so many months because it radiates you, and that hurts you too. And you know, the scary bit about that is that, like, if say I get a CT scan, it comes back clean, and then the next week my cancer comes back in my neck. In the 3 months time it would take to get my next CT scan, since it would have came back in my neck, it could have already spread to my lungs. That's my fear point. That's where I'm like, oh, what can I do about that? How do I control that, right? I've been trying to find ways to control this, to have some sense of control, calling the doctors, making people do stuff, making them send referrals and deal with TARs, and figuring out the mechanics of the whole medical system. It's given me this sense of control, because this thing that I have so little control over is happening to me. So I'm just going to try to stay, you know, super tight on the diet and the healthy lifestyle thing, and do everything I can to keep it from coming back, so I don't have to face any of those terrifying issues. But one of the other things it means, and this is something I worry about more, is that I need to be in, like, I need to have accessibility to really, really skillful medical practitioners, really experienced doctors, the kind of doctors who, you know, they don't ever say things like, oh, it's probably just a little cough, or oh, there's a cold going around, might just be a sore throat, or come back next week and we'll see if those spots are still there and your tonsils are still swollen. And those are 3 sentences that could lead to my death. I need, if I have a sore throat, I go to a doctor and get a referral to an ENT, or I go to a doctor who I'm very confident has the skills to look at what I have and say, no, there's nothing going on. But even then, I still probably want a referral to an ENT. If I get, a weird cough, sore tonsil, these are all doctor visits. These aren't, drink some NyQuil and hope it goes away anymore. Every one of those is a potential recurrence from, when I'm done my radiation treatment and all that on. I need to be really aware of that stuff. And I need a doctor who doesn't presume anything, doesn't take anything for granted. I don't have one of those where I'm at right now. The doctor I have right now, I went in because I'm pretty sure I have sciatica in my hip before all this happened. And he said that I might have just, pulled a muscle in my leg, 5 or 6 years ago. Not to worry about it. Local health place called a black widow bite, double wasp sting. They misdiagnosed some of my friends. They deafened one of my friends in one of his ears completely through a misdiagnosis. There's been some worrisome cancer stories that have come out of there. It's southern Mendocino County, man. We're out here in the middle of nowhere, real far away from everything, and so there's a low tax base, and there's just limited accessibility. There aren't a lot of doctors out here. There isn't much funding. Their access to new technologies is limited. I mean, it's not their fault. They're very nice people. Their bedside manner is impeccable. They're very kind and very understanding. They've been so helpful to me while I've been trying to rush referrals and TARs and RAFs and everything through them. And they've been really understanding of my kind of like rhinoceros movement franticism. But I fear the quality of the medical care and what that could mean for my aftercare moving forward after I get my treatment done, and what that could mean for how easily things are caught. I don't want anything brushed off, and so that I also don't want to go live in Santa Rosa, and I can't afford to live in the city. And I could move back to the East Coast where my friends and limited family are, but I don't think the Medicaid out there covers this kind of cancer and the treatment needed for it, which is a big bummer. I'd love to move out and live with people I grew up with and go to Johns Hopkins. And hey, Hopkins, if you're watching, I'd love to be a case study. If anybody's watching, I would love to be a hospital's case study. I am 30 years old, I have tongue cancer, I am a determined fella, and yeah, case study me, haha, right? But yeah, I don't know, it's just worrisome because I do love where I live. I came here for a reason, and the only other place I'd want to go would be back east where my closest friends are, and I worry that I'd either go bankrupt or get turned down because of living there. I'm honestly more scared of not having proper care available to me or the money to afford to be near it than I am of almost anything else about this. I don't care what parts of me I lose or how much torture and struggle I have to go through to survive. I just want to survive, and I'm afraid that limited access to quality healthcare will limit my ability to do just that, which is spooky. These aren't the types of things that normally you think you have to consider at 30, right? I thought I was pretty clear to live here for a while. I just want to be able to settle in somewhere near friends and feel safe and secure and start a family and live to be old and catch a glimpse of my grandkids. That's it. I'd be happy to die at 60 or 70 if that's how it goes. I just don't want to die young because I wasn't around good health care. That's crazy to me. I don't want to die young at all. But the idea that I could face something like that just because I wasn't around good health care is fucking ridiculous. And I don't accept it. You know, I I want to settle in near friends, feel safe, start a family, and live to be old enough to catch a glimpse of a grandkid. And I don't care how many parts of me are left by then. I don't care how much suffering I have to endure to get there. I have to get there. And I will get there. Nothing will stand in my way. You know, if I have to chop off my leg or change every single thing about my lifestyle or move to Mars, whatever, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna live to be an old man. I'm gonna be healthy. I'm gonna beat this cancer. And I'm gonna make sure that I am somewhere that if it recurs, it'll be caught. And any time it recurs, it'll be caught. And I'll be fine. And after, 5 years of that, I'm pretty much scot-free. But, that's kind of where I'm at. That's my world. That's my big update, guys. I hope you all enjoyed my long rambling update. I don't know. Everything's wild. I'm about to get 40 lymph nodes removed from my neck. I didn't even know I had that many lymph nodes until recently in such a small space. I got this cool mask sitting somewhere around here. It's like one of them Japanese, like street style masks. Yeah, so I'm gonna rock one of those now. N95 particle filtration masks. Yeah. So that'll be cool. I'm actually excited about that part. I get styling, right? But yeah, so please, thank you for listening, and drop $5 in the GoFundMe. Hey Claire, I'm making my YouTube update.
Hi.
That's Claire. I thought I just heard your car drive away.
No.
Huh. Anyway, that's pretty much the end. So thank you everybody for listening to my big old rant. And hey Bubbas. And yep, I'm gonna go now. If you got $5, drop it in the GoFundMe, please. Every penny makes a huge difference. $5 stacks really quickly when lots of people put it in there. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video, so that way it gets put all over the place and more people see it, and maybe a hospital sees it and picks me up as a cool case study or something. Thanks guys.